What's up guys, Percy here and welcome back to a new Guardian guide. In this guide, we're going to take a closer look at Achates, the tier 6 last Guardian. This Guardian can be done in 3 different difficulty modes, of which only 2 are currently clearable. Normal and Epic mode. The main difference between normal and Epic mode is that on the Epic mode your stats are equalized, which means item level, guild buffs and bracelet engravings won't matter. In addition to that, Achates' attacks are slightly faster, and because of the equalized stats, he also hits harder than in the normal mode. Before I start explaining the recommended combat items and the skills of Achates, I want to thank my static group and my guild for helping me to gather infos about the Guardian. Once I'm done explaining the essential infos, you will be able to watch a full Achates run without any comments. Now, let's start with the combat items. Aside from flare and combat healing pots, you need penetration and destruction bombs. Those bombs and skills with destruction and or penetration are needed to break Achates' wings at a certain point, which I will explain of course later. Depending on your party setup, you might only need white destruction bomb to destroy his wings on a normal mode. So if you have classes in your party with a lot of penetration and destruction skills, you don't need to use blue destruction and penetration bombs for normal mode. Penetration bombs are currently so expensive, but if you want to clear the hard mode, which you should clear once per week for the massive amount of yarn mats you get as a reward, you should take definitely the blue version of both bombs, and one of the members should take a corrosion bomb. The hard mode Achates' wings require more penetration or destruction to break compared to the normal mode Achates. Combat items? Check. So now let's talk about the juicy skills. The first skill, which we need to talk about, are the 3 different breath attacks. The frontal breath, the frontal 180 swing breath, and what I call run with me breath, where Achates uses the breath attack while moving backwards. Every time you get hit by a breath attack, you will get a stackable debuff which will decay after a few seconds if you don't get hit by his breath attacks. If you should get more than 3 stacks of this debuff, it is really bad because you will take damage over time, your healing pots are less effective, and you will be surrounded by an aura which will hurt your teammates close to you, and also apply a debuff stack for every hit they take from your aura. So stay away from your teammates until the debuff runs out and don't get hit by any more breath attacks which would extend the debuff timer. Next we have the feather swing. The first hit doesn't do much damage, but after a short delay the second hit will land and deal more damage and knock you up. A more difficult set of attacks you have to deal with are the charge and dive skills. The easier one is a charge skill. It is pretty similar to the charge skill of Untitled, the tier 4 Guardian. The dive skill is where you need to pay more attention. It has 2 variants. First one is where he dives towards a certain player and stops at the end of the path. Second variant, he will disappear at the end of the path. This needs to be shot called so that the other member can prepare to dodge his landing attack. A few seconds after disappearing, he will appear above the player who he dived towards initially and will do a slam attack. Here's some tips how to avoid getting hit by that second variant. First of all, get away from the player who was the initial target of the dive attack. The player who is the target should know that he will slam from the initial dive direction. So to avoid this attack, the targeted player should run to top or bottom side if the boss dived from left to right or from right to left. And if the boss dived from top to bot or bot to top, then the player should move either to the left or to the right side of the arena. Also pay attention to the thunder strikes which will appear randomly around Achates' diving path. The next skill in my list are the 2 variants of the cluster thunder strike. The easiest variant is if the boss casts the skill around himself. This cluster strike will expand outwards. The first wave of hits will land 2 meters away from the boss and the second wave 3 meters. This is one of the skills where you can deal a lot of damage by just staying really close and behind the boss. If the boss is not close to a wall, none of those strikes should hit you that way. The second variant of the strikes will target a player and will first strike around the player and then where the player stood when the skill was casted on him. To avoid this attack, you can either charge or dodge out immediately or wait for the first strike to land around you and then run or dodge away from the center. Next, we have the cross attack. Achates will slam on the ground and make some highlighted lines appear on the ground. They won't do damage initially, which will give enough time to avoid standing on those lines or close to those. After a short delay, light beams will shoot out of those lines, deal damage and knock you up. Next, I will sum up a few easy to dodge attacks. The first one is the pizza. This one is simple. Either you decide to dance the pizza and go for the gaps which won't deal damage, or you simply dodge out of the pizza radius. Double wing attack. This will deal damage left and right from the boss and he can do it 2 times in a row after rotating. The tornadoes. The boss will knock up and push back everyone in front of him and will send out 3 tornadoes towards those guys. The last 2 skills which you need to pay attention to before I explain the most important mechanics of the boss are: first, the following thunder strike. 2 players will get a big circle below their feet and a small ring will close up to the player slowly from the circle. A few seconds after it hits the player, it will strike at the spot and leaves a burning ground behind. You can easily avoid getting hit by the skill just by running if you have enough movement speed. Make sure to run to the edge or close to the wall so that you can place those annoying burning fields somewhere outside the fighting area. The second attack is the curse. One player will get a red curse and the other one a blue curse above their head. All you need to do is run close to each other and the curse will disappear. You don't need to stay still, by the way. If you fail to run together in time, the blue curse will disappear and the player with the red curse will take tons of damage over time for a few seconds. Now, brace yourself. If you thought those previous skills are already too much, then I have to disappoint you. Most crucial mechanic is the statue mechanic. After fighting the boss for a while, he will disappear and appear back in the center of the zone. He will be surrounded by a blue, yellow or green shield. To destroy the shield, you need to destroy the statues he spawns around him first and pick up the stones those drop matching his shield color and throw those on the shield. The color of the shield might change after you successfully threw 2 stones with the matching color, or if you took too long to throw the stones. If you are too slow while destroying the shield or throw the wrong color, the boss will use a shockwave to deal damage and knock everyone back. Before I talk about what will happen if you fail to break the shield completely or if you succeed to do so, I need to go through the 3 different statue spawn variants. Now, listen carefully. First tip is that you should use tab to check the minimap where the statue spawns. This is what I do once the boss teleports to the center, because I have usually all the UI except my skill bar disabled. The 3 statue spawn variants will require 3 different kind of coordination between the players in the party. It is really crucial to communicate and shot call if you are about to throw a stone matching the shield's color. You also need to know that the stones dropped by the statue will disappear or despawn after a few seconds. Now then, let's start with the easiest variant, the 4 statue spawn. 4 statues will spawn and each player should try to destroy one of those statues and try to pick up and throw the matching color stone, but be careful again. After the second stone is thrown, the color of the shield might change. So shot call if you throw a stone. After throwing the second correct stone, 4 new statues will appear which you can destroy and pick up the new color needed to destroy the shield. Next, we have the 2 statue spawn. 3 players should destroy a statue together and a solo player, preferably a mobile class, should destroy the second statue solo, but a few seconds after the first statue was destroyed. First statue will drop a stone of each color, and each of those players should pick 1 stone and the one with the matching color with the shield should throw the stone at the shield. Meanwhile, the 4th player should have destroyed the second statue and should throw the second matching stone. The shield color will change afterwards, and one of the three players who went together for the first statue should have the stone on his hand which matches the new color of the shield. And of course, he should throw it. If the solo player is fast enough, he can pick up the new stone required from the second statue which he destroyed before it disappears. In the background we were slightly too slow, but don't worry, once the third right stone was thrown, a new statue will spawn. You just have to destroy it and throw the one stone needed. The final and the most difficult variant is if only one statue spawns. This variant will add an annoying skill to the boss. The boss will shoot out orbs which will have one of the two colors not matching the current shield he has. If a player gets hit by those orbs, the orb will disappear but deal damage and knock the player back. Only the player holding the stone matching the color of the orbs will be able to block those orbs without taking damage or getting knocked back. For this specific variant of the statue spawn, you need to assign your team members with certain roles. I will explain what the roles of the party members you can see in the background were, but you can also use this method and assign your party members the same roles. Once we destroy the single statue, our bard and the soul master will always pick up the stone matching the color of the shield. Let's call this role the destroyers. The other two of us are the blockers. Our purpose is to take the stone which doesn't match the shield's color and block the orb so that the destroyers can throw their stone without getting knocked back. One of the blockers should always take the yellow, and if the shield color is yellow, he should take the blue stone. This was my role in the footage running in the background. The other blocker should always take green, and if the shield's color is green, then that player should take the blue stone. This was the task of the Hawkeye. Once the two destroyers throw their stones correctly, the shield's color might change to the stone's color of one of the blockers. If it is the case, the blocker with the matching color should throw his stone and rotate together with the rest of the team towards the second statue, which will spawn after throwing the second stone. If none of the blockers have the matching color because the shield's color didn't change, then simply rotate towards the second statue and protect the destroyers from the second wave of orbs until they can destroy the second statue, pick up the stones and destroy the shield. If you successfully threw the fourth matching stone in any of the three variants, the shield of the boss will break, and you will have a small window through you throw your penetration bombs, destruction bombs, and use your skills with penetration or destruction to get rid of Achates' wings. This will be easy on normal mode, but it will be harder on epic mode and requires one of the players to throw corrosion bomb first and fast. Once you get rid of those wings, the guardian will be in a weakened state and you will have a short window to deal tons of damage before he teleports to a new area and gets his wings back. But during the weakened states, his skills are limited and slower. In case you fail to break his wings, or even fail to destroy his shield during the statue phase, the boss will go enrage and will do all his skills faster and get a few new variants to his existing skills. He will also pull periodically the players towards him and deal massive damage, which I would call the extinction in this case. So once he pulls you, try to run away until his extinction skill is over. Similar to the enraged tier 4 guardian Tertullus, you can turn him back to normal state by downing the boss. This will be easier with impairment focused classes like Blaster, Destroyer, Warlord or Infighter. Ooh, simple, right? So that's it, and that's all you need to know, guys. If you have any questions left, feel free to ask in the comments or in the Tea Party Discord, which is linked below in the video description. Now, you can enjoy the uninterrupted full Achates run, and good luck, and see you guys on my next video. Bye bye, your Tea Party Percy. Fuck, I have only three green potions left. the next. Going yellow.